President Trump is touting what he says is a win for his economic policy. South Korean conglomerate Hyundai will be investing $21 billion in America to avoid the tariffs.
Here's Trump at a conference with Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry and the executive chair of Hyundai.
Money is pouring in, and we want to keep it that way. And I think that's what's going to happen. We have tremendous interest in our country, more than ever before. The cars are coming into this country at levels never seen before. Get ready. This investment is a clear demonstration that tariffs very strongly work, and I hope other things also, but the tariffs are bringing them in at levels that have not been witnessed. Hyundai will be producing steel in America and making its cars in America, and as a result, they'll not have to pay any tariffs. You know, there are no tariffs if you make your product in America.
We are really proud to stand with you and proud to build the future together. Thank you.
Here is what Hyundai's investment looks like in more detail. $6 billion will go to a Louisiana steel factory, which the New York Times reports will employ 1,300 people. Then $9 billion will go to expanding Kia, Hyundai, and Genesis vehicle production. $5 billion will go to producing electric vehicle batteries near Atlanta.
Let's take a look at the current economic outlook, however. Consumer confidence has dropped to its lowest point since 2021, per the Conference Board. The income, business, and labor market short-term outlook is at its lowest in 12 years. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce also published an index showing that small business owners' confidence has fallen 7 points in the first quarter.
On the bright side, for Trump, the amount of money set to be invested in America since he took office is in the trillions. Some of the major promised investments include the United Arab Emirates investing $1.4 trillion for artificial intelligence infrastructure and semiconductor manufacturing. Apple investing $500 billion, which will include money for AI servers and research and development jobs. And NVIDIA will invest $100 billion in chip production. Trump wrote last week that we would be imposing reciprocal tariffs on April 2nd.
Economist Peter Schiff wrote on X, "Many people are saying that tariffs are a great negotiating tool for Trump, but admit that they would be harmful to the U.S. economy if actually imposed. So if that's the case, how can they be an effective bargaining chip if the other side knows they won't actually be enforced?"
Meanwhile, author Gordon Chang wrote, "Stop moaning over Trump's tariffs. He has recognized that the post-war trading system has died and that China's predatory and criminal policies killed it. Now we either exclude China from all trade and investment or build high tariff walls. The first option is too hard, so we have to defend ourselves with barriers." So what do you think, Marianne? It looks like, I'm not a fan of the tariffs at all. I wouldn't do them. However, this, I can acknowledge when this is a favorable outcome that we're gonna have jobs here. That's nice. Going to have a plant here. My problem, though, is I'm very skeptical of investments being made in this country that are only being made because the government is this is the reverse of a subsidy. Instead of subsidizing something, saying you will be not subsidized unless you build here. Basically, that's what the tariff accomplishes. I think if we have to protect some kind of industry with aggressive government action, then it's not genuine. It is subject to be gotten away with as soon as the policy changes. Like these tariffs they're going to be implemented, then they were not going to be implemented, then they were going to be implemented again. It's gone back and forth so many times. I think that creates a lot of unfortunate uncertainty. So I'm glad they're investing and they're going to build a plant here in America and create jobs for Americans. I'm all for that. But of course, if it's more expensive to do that or more expensive to manufacture steel because of some government policy, I don't think that's good. Unlike Gordon Chang, I think if China is a problem, let's find other trading partners. That's better to do in my mind than creating some high tariff wall where we're assembling everything for ourselves in this country. That's autarky, and that doesn't work.
Well, the most important thing for me is a win for the American worker. So I agree with you. Let's celebrate the fact that this $21 billion investment is being made and that the workers in Louisiana and elsewhere will win from that. I do think it's worth noting that the conversation, the narrative that is being promulgated by you'll correct me if I'm wrong, not just the Trump administration, but anyone with the particular kind of conservative filter, is that we're supposed to be very excited when these workers, 1,300 people, get their jobs because of a South Korean investment. But we're supposed to be completely uncaring that 1,300 people, in fact, tens of thousands of people have lost their jobs that were government jobs simply because somehow any kind of government employment is a very, very bad thing, and I don't agree with that. So I think it's interesting. We're supposed to be excited over here, but simply not care about the trauma and the lives of people over there. I think that in this particular case, we don't know yet about the tariffs. I think in general they're a really bad idea. If the president can claim a win on this one particular issue, I'm not going to take that from him. But as you yourself, I think, seem to be indicating, that it's too early to see whether in general this whole tariff scheme.
Well, I think we're not very far apart on the tariff issue itself. In terms of why we should be more excited about workers finding jobs in the private,
it's a free market.
Well,
it's
but it's because it's voluntary. It's because
the government jobs, those are voluntary.
No, let me finish my point. But the revenue source is not voluntary. Money is being extracted from us. It comes out of your taxes, and then your tax dollars are paid to the workers. So just creating more jobs in the government sector, then that requires us to pay them more. So it's different. Whereas in the private sector, that is some entity, in this case a Korean car company, freely deciding, although it's not being freely decided in this case because of the tariffs. That's why I'm against it. But say it's no tariffs. Say it's just whatever. A factory owner, he's manufacturing sprockets, whatever. He's going to set up, wants to build a sprocket factory in Kansas, and is using his money to do that, and is going to pay his workers and to sell sprockets and get some kind of product. That's not, I'm not, money isn't being taken from me to support that enterprise. That's why it's different with the federal employees. But I don't want to traumatize them or torture them psychologically.
Well, they are being traumatized. They are being traumatized. But hold on. Trade is an exchange. So it's not like money is being given to federal workers who work for these agencies. They are producing value, and the value is thus created by these, agencies, in a way that then serve the American people. Social Security serves the American people. The National Park Service serves the American people. These agencies serve the American people. You act like we're not getting anything from that.
No, I didn't say that.
So what's going to happen?
I say it wasn't freely chosen.
Hold on a minute. So what's going to happen with Hyundai coming over here? There's going to be a lot of money that goes back to South Korea, but I'm all for, there's a place for international trade, and it's going to serve stockholders.
Do you believe in the ethics?
Hold on a second. I believe that there are stakeholders beyond just stockholders. So and there should be both. There should be public and there should be private. That's government at its best. The stakeholder is somebody who walks into a national park. The stakeholder is someone who walks into the
Marianne,
library. The stakeholder is someone who walks into the museum. The stakeholder is someone who gets their Social Security check.
I
not just
assume
somebody
you believe
who owns a stock.
in an ethics of consent, that I do not have permission to reach into your pocket right now and grab your wallet and take your money. Would you agree that I can't do that?
Not necessarily in that situation, because I know where you're going, therefore tax.
But if I'm a federal employee, I get to reach into your pocket, take your thing, and say, but look, I'm providing you parks, so it's fine, because I'm giving you something. I'm taking your money, and then I'm going to do something with it. I think consent is important in both cases.
Do you want to get rid of consent to be? Do you want to get rid of taxes? Do you want to get rid of the income tax? Tell me the truth.
Yes.
I knew that.
I want to have services provided voluntarily. I want to pay for the services that I value, and you pay for the services you value, and I want to make taxes as small and voluntary as possible.
All taxation is coercion.
It is coercion.
So
it is. I mean, by its very definition. Do you have some way to argue that it's not? What if we all get together and agree and vote that I get to take your wallet? That makes it ethical?
All taxation is coercion.
What if me and the producers in the control room, we all vote? Let's take a vote. We all say we get to take Marianne's wallet. Now you say it's
no. Marianne voted for the people. That's what a representative democracy is. Marianne voted for the people, who then decided on that.
I think
tax
if the
level.
wolves all vote to eat the sheep, it doesn't make it right.
You probably think that the Trump tax cut that was originally passed in 2017, all of this is about extending that tax cut, which, as I said yesterday, will add $37 trillion to the debt. $4 trillion.
Not if we do my spending plan where we spend less money.
Would you extend that tax cut?
Absolutely.
Or absolutely not?
Absolutely.
You just...
Yes, I would. Okay. We're told we need to wrap. Next up, we'll tell you about an Oscar-winning film that you may never get to see. Stay tuned.